All right, Clint from The Doorway 2, hanging out with two of the folks from Lychgate, Greg and James. Thank you very much for doing this. Why don't you two introduce yourself and kind of say what you do in the band first so people kind of know who you are.
Go ahead, Jim.
Okay. So I'm James, and I founded the band in 2013, and I basically compose all the music and play guitar.
And I'm Greg, and I'm basically doing the vocals, all of the extreme vocals, and Jim does some cleans as well.
Very cool. Thank you for doing this again. I appreciate it. So I kind of want to talk about the band all the way through your 4 proper records, because I've liked every single one of them, and I've kind of been a fan for a decade plus now. So when I listen to it, they all have a common theme, and I kind of want to talk about that. It's kind of like a horror soundtrack mixed with doom and some black metal all put in. But as we go along, I feel like that cinematic element grows on each record, and it's more of a movie soundscape mixed with like metallic and other elements. So I kind of wanted to talk to you. Was that always what was intended in the band? Like, did you want to keep growing that more cinematic sound, or has it just happened over record by record?
So the first album was a different kind of approach, and it wasn't cinematic at all. But from the second album onwards, the inspiration was definitely like a hammer horror thing, like 1960s films, Vincent Price and all that kind of stuff, and the way of using organ in that way. Although actually, the inspiration in the end was more like from classical music than from film. But originally, the idea was, to get an inspiration from something cinematic. And over time, it's made sense to keep it like that, because that's how the band's sound became known. To use keyboards as a backbone to the compositions, and to have it quite atmospheric. And it's just a different writing approach to different metal bands. Yeah, different writing approach to other metal bands, because metal bands in general, they use just guitar as the way they will write songs. And then with Lychgate, it's always about using keyboard first, and then thinking about the guitars later.
Did you want to add anything to it, Greg, at all, or?
I think the only thing you didn't touch on really was that the organ itself is a fundamental part. The pipe organ is a fundamental part of Lychgate's sound as well, and that's been quite dominant on some of the albums, some more than others. But it's been a constant. Even from the first album, there was some parts of organ there.
Yeah,
very cool. Thank you. So as the later albums grow, I kind of am gonna so the last 2 records in particular kind of feel like they have a common theme and a common bond to each other. So I kind of tell people, like, if you want to hear this band, think of a more cinematic like Bethlehem or Theononicus. Like, that's kind of the direction it reminds me of. So I kind of wanted to ask you, like, what bands inspired you? Not so much, we know the cinematic side, because James, you were pretty clear on, like, and I'm glad that it was the hammer horror and the horror stuff, because that's my favorite stuff as well too. But what bands really influenced you to be the modern Lychgate?
Definitely Emperor. That's the kind of obvious. To the extent that on the latest album, people were saying that we were taking ideas from Prometheus, which is actually not true. which is not true at all. It's just a coincidence. But yeah, definitely a big inspiration. And Abigor, Thorns, early My Dying Bride.
Nice.
I'm a big fan of My Dying Bride. Yeah, Unholy from Finland. It's a really underrated band. Although, yeah, in the underground people know them, but I think people don't talk about them enough.
they haven't done much in a long time. I think that's the reason why. Yeah, but like the first couple Unholy records are phenomenal. I don't disagree.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, they're very cool. Greg, do you want to add anything into it? Any elements that you think you're bringing into this, or?
I think vocal style wise, it's more just like a variety of kind of different styles, a little bit of death metal, a bit of doom, and obviously the leaning heavily into the black metal sound as well, with the higher stuff as well.
Cool. Very awesome.
I'm not sure actually, but for me, this is the connection's pausing sometimes. Is it happening for you guys as well, or is
Not
it just
at all.
my laptop here?
It might just be your connection. No, it seems pretty well for us. So.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
No problem. So the next thing I kind of want to ask is, why was there a 5-year pause between the last record and this record? Like, was it just busy doing other things, or was this a purposeful pause? Like, why was there such a long wait between records?
Yeah. So let me think about this. So we recorded the EP in 2019, I think, and released in 2020. And then we recorded Precipice in 2025, but it was written, it was written between roughly 2 years before that.
Okay.
Yeah, I finished writing it in 2024. The reason I didn't do anything for a few years was because I was at university again. So I did another bachelor degree, and for that reason I didn't have any time, and I was working in my free time, and just zero time for band stuff, you know.
Fair enough. No, that's the best answer possible on something like that. You were working on a degree. So I kind of want to ask, like, why the move from Blood Music to DMP? Was it just a time for a change? Did the label see different different ideas from the last record to the new one? Like, why the jump on labels?
Josh from Blood Music, if I'm not mistaken, I think he kind of almost stopped releasing. Well, Greg might know more about this, but I understood it as he was basically closing down operations.
Okay.
And also, maybe he felt like we didn't really fit what he was doing, because his main seller was Perturbator, which basically became a pretty massive name after he released it. And I think even that first album, it sold 20,000 copies, which in the underground is a big deal.
Yes.
So yeah, for him, like, Lychgate was just like not particularly helpful band to have around anyway. So yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah, I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head there. He was doing a lot with the label, and then over time, I think it got too much, and he wanted to scale it back down. So I think he was still planning on releasing stuff with some of the bigger artists, but he was basically kind of like bringing it right down.
Yeah. Interesting story about Blood Music is that he made a name for himself originally because he was releasing vinyls. And the thing is, he was releasing vinyls by bands like Strapping Young Lad and Moonsorrow, big bands, and he did that at a crucial moment before vinyl became trendy again. And all the labels suddenly thought, oh shit, we need to start doing these represses. So he was lucky that he got in there first.
Nice. Yeah, cool. So I kind of want to talk about how the albums are created, and I just kind of want to know from a recording process. Do you write the music first? Do you have lyrical themes first? Like, how does a Lychgate album come to be? Do you have like a story and then you write the music to it, or is it music and then a story?
For me, it's always music first.
Okay.
Yeah. I think probably the same for most bands. Yeah, I'm not really interested in lyrics so much. But I think they add another dimension, obviously, at the end when you add lyrics and vocals, it kind of brings the piece alive a bit more. Yeah, but it's definitely not the motivation for me. I'm really into my instrumental stuff, so yeah.
So I'll ask Greg on this side of it. When you hear the music created, do you have a theme in mind for it? Or are you kind of just writing it along to the feeling of the music? So.
Well, with Lychgate, Jim's generally writing all the lyrics and coming up with the concepts and themes. And I think you should probably touch upon that, Jim, because it's actually quite interesting. But they're generally based around specific concepts or books or themes that are then concurrent throughout that release. And so Jim will bring lyrics to the studio with me, and we'll go through and just basically make it all fit with the music, and that's generally how we work on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would add also it's good to have a rough idea when you're writing the music what kind of theme it's going to be. So you know the main theme for the album, and then the music can be like steered in that direction, roughly. Yeah. But with the lyrics, it's actually really good to work with Greg at the end and see how they fit, because you can write a whole bunch of stuff, but you only end up using half of the words. So, yeah.
Fair enough. No, I appreciate it.
Do you want to? Sorry. Did you want to discuss the theme of the lyrics on the last album, for example?
That's kind of what I was. That's where I was going to lead to. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, we're always taking inspiration from dystopian novels and the context of the novels, which tended to be a long time ago. For example, with this one, it was about 110 years ago, if I remember correctly. Basically, pessimism about the future, with the loss of the individual in society and the mechanization of society. And the machine stops specifically, which we used. That's the name of the novel, and we use it specifically for the album because it's just a logical progression from each of the other themes. In this case, maybe it's too real because it applies to now in terms of the situation where we rely so much on machines that when they stop working, no one knows how to fix it. And it's basically just a breakdown of society and let's say return to the land, like a return to a kind of medieval existence.
Very cool. Yeah, thank you. No, thank you for explaining it. I appreciate it greatly. So my first introduction to the band was the Antidote record. So it was your second record that I got to hear. I went back and listened to the first record, so I kind of have a different perspective probably than most people that started from the beginning moving forward. I feel like I probably started in a really good place because it was the crossroads of how stylistically the band was changing, in my opinion. But the first record seems to have more kind of a raw, blackened, sinister kind of feel where the cinematic layers, like you said, really start showing on Antidote. So like I said, when you were making that first record, again, you talked about it a little bit, but I kind of want to dig a little bit deeper is, were you looking forward in the future to having more of that kind of avant-garde, theatrical kind of element in the music? And you were just, the initial tracks were just the initial tracks you had and you grew to that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think with Antidote, it was clear that this wasn't going to be a one-off thing and that future releases would kind of build on that. It was like a eureka moment around that time in terms of my own development as a musician as well. Everything kind of happened at once and it just kind of clicked. And I thought, yeah, it's a different approach. Not many bands use organ.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was like a really interesting concept to get to use organ on that album and actually get someone to play it. So we had a proper organist play it, which is a lot of work, but yeah, it was interesting. And even now I kind of think of future releases in terms of building on what's been done. Always thinking long term.
Very cool. Greg, did you want to add anything on it at all, or was that a pretty good?
I think that was pretty much covered the whole thing. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So I kind of want to throw this at both of you because the new record, I would say, probably has the most proggy avant-garde elements into it that I've heard so far from the band. Is it hard to first write lyrics that'll fit something that's not so direct? And then on Greg's side, when you're done, James, is it hard to sing this kind of music because it's not your just simple rock and roll music? Like there are layers, there are elements, there are stop starts, there are staccato parts going on. Like there's a whole lot of things happening. So I'll let James start, and then Greg, you can jump into it. So.
Yeah, it's probably a bit harder than most bands, and yeah, but like, to speak for myself, before I start writing it, I think, goodness me, it's a lot of work, and how am I going to do this? And then when it's all done, it's a relief. But yeah, let's just say that for Greg, it's probably a pain in the ass to do the vocals on his stuff. I feel a bit sorry for him when he when he has to do the recording.
Yeah, it's well, basically the music's very complicated as you've already described it, but there's a lot of time signature changes, a lot of rhythm changes, a lot of tempo changes, and the tempo's not static, it moves a lot. So for the way that we've been working on the last couple of releases is that we've been basically working on the lyrics and then recording at the same time, more or less, or straight after in the studio. So we've been working that way. So it's fairly difficult music to just kind of learn off the cuff, to learn and get everything recorded straight away is quite difficult. So yeah, it does tend to need a few takes to get the feel of everything and get it all nailed down.
So, Greg, I'm gonna kind of dive board off that a bit. When you're doing the vocals in the studio, do you have a set mindset of what you want to do already, or is it kind of a little more freeform and you kind of work it, or have you already pretty much arranged everything that you could just jump into the studio and start doing the vocals?
No, it's a bit of experimentation. I would say it's a lot of experimentation, and sometimes Jim might give me some guide vocals to kind of follow, and then we might change some things as we go, or we might stick to the subdivisions that and the rhythms that are already there. It really depends, because we've found ourselves editing lyrics and stuff as we go as well. So you have to be prepared to kind of change things as to what's going to work the best, and so you have to be able to think off the cuff and learn something that's not particularly straightforward quite quickly. So yeah, in those terms, it's quite tricky, but it's just a matter of concentration, really. Just breaking it down into smaller sections or parts of songs rather than just perform the whole song in one go, because there's just so much to remember and think about that until once you've recorded it and you learn the song, it's easy, obviously, because you have your reference there to. I mean, it's not easy, but it's much easier to learn because you've got the definitive recording to go by. But yeah, when you're actually putting it all together, it takes a bit of time. Yeah.
Cool. No, thank you. I appreciate that. And then Jim, on the other side of it, in the studio when you're recording the last couple of records, they seems to be a lot more of kind of an avant-garde, free-form kind of vibe that kind of binds all the songs together. Do you do a lot of interplay in the studio while you're doing stuff, or are you pretty content with the material you wrote right away and it kind of stays as is?
Yeah, pretty much stays as is.
Okay.
just because it's not realistic to experiment too much. We can't improvise with this kind of material. It wouldn't work. Because some styles, let's say some avant-garde bands, maybe they're more used to playing as a band together. And maybe they're used to jamming and improvising, but because we live in different cities, we never kind of got together and came up with stuff on the spot. It's better to just have it really clear. So basically, all the music is transcribed. The whole album, the whole last album is tabbed, and a detail tab as well, with all the rhythms and stuff. So there's no ambiguity. As I understand it, if you want to talk about esoteric, it's interesting because it's a totally different approach, and one that I admire, because as I understand, they're rehearsing as a band regularly, and when in the studio, they kind of, they play with the effects as they record. But maybe Greg can talk about that. But yeah, it's a different approach. Yeah.
I think with Lychgate, the music it's so well put together, and it's so intricate, and the use of harmony and everything is so complicated. It would be very difficult to improvise. You could improvise certain sections maybe, but if one person has one idea and another person has another, it could actually fall apart rather than become better, if that makes sense, because everything is very, it's written over a period of time, so it's very well put together. There's no real need to experiment with it or to, because that part has already been done during the writing process. And some things are the same with how Esoteric writes, like certain, like there might be like 100 different permutations of a part that's been tried before you settle on a finished one. Not 100, but a lot. And other parts of the music is kind of like you take the idea to rehearsal and then you work on it together as a band. So it just varies really. And the sound and production of Esoteric is done in advance of the recording, simply because it would take forever to try and create all those sounds during the mixing process. You need to kind of have, and you also you have the vision for how the song should sound beforehand, and then you're putting that together in the rehearsal room, and then you're feeding off each other in terms of what you're doing with sounds, and then it comes together better in the studio without taking too much time.
I think what I love about it though is, like, you would never confuse Lychgate with Esoteric or Esoteric with Lychgate. Like, they are two very different projects, but yet at the essence, there's kind of this core feeling of maybe a very thought out, progressive kind of process of the music being made on both sides. So thanks, Greg. I appreciate for that kind of feedback on both sides of it. So yeah, no problem. I kind of want to talk about the video for Hive of the Parasites, because it's one of the most, and I'm not a politically correct person, so I'm going to say it. It's one of the most fucking disturbing things I've seen in quite some time. All right. No, but that's in a wonderful kind of way. Like, it fits the song and the theme and the vibe of the music, but like, it is unsettling to say the least. Are you happy with the the outcome of it overall? Do you think it fits with the vibe of what you want the band to overall present? Kind of talk about it a bit, because I've watched it like 5 times, and I think I've seen it 5 different ways by watching it those 5 times.
Yeah. Okay. So that video was a lot of work, firstly. In terms of the vibe, it's pretty much what I had in mind. It was inspired by cinema from the 1920s to 1950s. So I think we kind of nailed that. Also because we used film, where it was an analog camera, so it kind of looked real. Yeah. So I actually wrote and directed that video. I don't know if So I wasn't very happy with it originally, but then we kind of reshot some things on a separate day, and then with some editing, it was all right. But yeah, we almost didn't finish the video. It almost got abandoned because, yeah, you know, when you develop film and you don't like the results, you kind of,
Yes.
yeah, it was a bit like that. But yeah, I think the main thing I wanted to say was that we didn't have enough time, and I'm really grateful that what came out of it in such a short space of time, like, because everyone got together for like just a few hours, and yeah, it was amazing that all that came out of the few hours. It's amazing. Yeah, I'm really happy about that. So yeah, I'm overall I'm happy with the video. I think it's something different.
Greg, your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not certainly not your typical metal video. It is quite I mean, it's your perspective when you've been involved in something is a little bit different because you see how it's put together. But when you look at the end result, yeah, I think it's come out very well. And I think James is quite a perfectionist in many ways, so it's probably harder for him to kind of appreciate something that he's created than it is for the rest of us. So I think, yeah, you should. Yeah, I think it came out very well in my own opinion. So yeah, and it was quite quick because we only had a few hours together with everyone at the same time, same place, and yeah, it was a lot to get through for the length of the song.
Very cool. Yeah. So I'm just going to say from being a fan of, as you can see, I have Creature from the Black Lagoon on my shirt right now, like of 30s and 40s Universal kind of, you know, King Kong movie horror. Like it gave me that vibe in a much more terrifying kind of way, but it gave me that kind of feeling that I was watching almost like Phantom of the Opera, like the silent film kind of vibe it gave me. So like it was very impressive to me. But yeah, Jim, talk about what you wanted to just say. So
cool.
Yeah, a fun fact about where we filmed that. It was actually the house used by the family of Charles Dickens.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So yeah, the house was historically significant. Let's say like that. And yeah, we were quite lucky to be able to use it.
Very cool. Yeah, I think it came across very amazing and it's very different. And when I show people the video, they now want to hear the whole record. Like I think what you did was you enticed people into like, okay, like, and I say this in the most loving of ways, like, is this band this fucked up all the way through the album too? And I'm like, yes, sir. Yes, they are. Like, you want to listen to a great, weird, strange, creepy record, start with the new one and go backwards because the last couple kind of have that same feeling as well. So, yeah. So I think you inspire people to want to hear your band just by that video alone. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing it. And yeah, I'm glad that it had that effect.
Nice. So this is going to be kind of a thinking man's question for both of you, because I do this to everybody in all my interviews. If you've seen my interview before, you probably know this question's coming, but I'm just letting you know. So if you could have one band or artist take one of your songs and make it their own, so let's, you know, they take it and make it sound like them, who would you want somebody to rework one of your songs and why?
So I start. Oh yeah. Well, I think Gorguts is a killer band. I mean, I love. Yeah. I would just love Luke LeMay to leverage. Oh. Yeah.
I love Gorguts too. Trust me. You know, like I said, that would be fantastic. But Greg, what about you? Who do you think would make a really great reworking of a Lychgate song?
Maybe Oranzi Pazuzu, I think, might be quite an interesting choice because the way that they might perform it, I think would be very cool because I think they'd be able to put their own spin on it quite well and have it come out quite different, but also keep the vibe certainly intact. I think they would keep the vibe very well.
That is one band I've always wanted to see live and never had a chance to see because they're just such a phenomenal record. And like I've seen videos of them, but I just want to see them live to feel what they feel like in person. So yeah, very cool. No, thank you.
It's a good live band.
Yeah, thank you. No, I appreciate it. All right, so I want to talk about the artwork all over the albums because I feel like the artwork is very intentional to match with whatever the thoughts of the record are going on. So when you pick album artwork, is it intentional, or is it just a piece of art that you, or a thing that you see, you're like, oh man, I think that would just be a really cool album cover? Like, Jim, I'm kind of just curious on your thoughts on that.
Yes. No, it's always intentional. Except let's say that, okay, you can give an idea to an artist, but what you end up getting is another matter, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, let's just say near enough.
Have you been happy with all of them as an outcome? Like, because it sounds like one of them may not have made you so happy right now.
I don't want to be unkind about the guy who did Contagion.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a bit crazy.
No, fair
yeah,
enough.
no, I won't be unkind. Yeah, I'm happy enough. Let's say it like that. Yeah,
that's fair. Honest enough answer. I'm good with that. Thank you. So here's another just thought of a question. Like, let's say the band ended today, and you could have a plaque that says, "Here lies, Lychgate." What would you want to be remembered for most after these records? Like, what is a couple of things that you feel that you've given the world that maybe another band hasn't, or maybe made people think about?
good. Greg, any thoughts?
I would say I think that Lychgate is quite, and it's easier for me to say because Jim's doing all the writing, but I think it's a very unique band. I think it's not a band that you would listen to another band and say, oh, they sound like this band or they sound like another band. I think it's got very much got its own style, and it's not afraid to, in the songwriting, it's not afraid to do stuff that's very off the wall, very kind of extreme, and also very complicated. So I think I would say the uniqueness of the style of writing is something that I think stands out the most to me.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add to that is, as a band and even as an individual, I think it's important to value authenticity. And despite all the trends that you have in the music industry, to always just do your own thing. I think that's for me, that's important. And then not in an egotistical way, but just simply that you really believe in the power of your own expression and not compromising on that.
Oh, great. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. So here's another one of the last questions that are going to kind of be more thought-provoking. So I appreciate you answering these. But let's say you could all get together as a true band and go do a small tour, maybe a week, 2 weeks, whatever you want to be able to do. All right. How would you differ the record from a live performance of the band?
Maybe I misunderstood the question, but we always try to be as close to the record as possible in the shows.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I kind of meant like if you like did a long tour, a theatrical kind of thing. Like how would you differentiate the two?
I get it. Well, one of my dreams was always to play with organ on stage.
Okay.
We tried it once, but wasn't good. But maybe one day, honestly, it wasn't good. But yeah, one day, if I could do it in an ideal scenario, it would have organ on stage, real piano, and visuals.
Mm-hmm.
Some projections with relevant imagery, like the video for Hyperparasites.
Mm-hmm.
And and a good atmosphere, like a proper set design. That would be cool. But you know how it is.
Yes.
It's expensive. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think if we had the budget for it to put on a show like that, with the real piano, real organists playing, I think it would make a big difference to kind of the whole atmosphere. But generally speaking, you've got like 20 minutes to get on stage and get set up and play, and that's it really. So in the real world, it's not so easy.
Very cool. So I just have a couple more questions. I'll wrap it up and then we can kind of go from there. But the next question is, out of the last 3 records, is there anything that you would want to change, or are you happy with them? Do you feel like they, at the end of the day, ended up being everything that you wanted them to be? Or in hindsight now, is there something that you would love to be able to fix or alter on any of the last 3 records?
Well, the honest answer is, with the latest album, I'm actually really happy with the production.
Good.
I think Greg nailed it. I think it sounds as it should sound. It's got a good balance between ambience and tightness and clarity. With the previous record, Contagion, I'm speaking honestly, I'm not happy with how it sounds.
Okay.
That's because it failed to capture the atmosphere of the demo of that recording. The weird thing is the demo sounds nothing like the album.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the demo was designed more like kind of a shoegazy approach.
Okay.
And the album's like, it's too dry. So yeah,
there's no shoegaze elements on the album at all. So
yeah, no, yeah, that's how it goes. Can't always be happy.
Fair enough. Well, I was just going to say, I think the last record is one of my favorite records of the last couple of years. That's why I wanted to talk to you guys. That's why I wanted to have this conversation, because it's not just sorrow. There's like a wave of 20 different emotions when I listen to the record. Sometimes there's happiness, sometimes there's hope, sometimes there's sorrow, sometimes there's just utter fear. Like when I listen to it, like there is just like, okay, can things get any worse? And then you have a really interesting way of making it worse. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, okay, can it get worse? Oh my God, it's getting worse. But then there's like this hopeful moment and you fool me and then you bring the chaos back in. So I kind of just wanted to talk about like overall vocally, Greg, I think it's probably your strongest performance I've ever heard with the band. So I really want to say thank you for that. And Jim, as far as like the guitar tones, you still have me sitting in the corner of my room with an amp trying to figure out how you do some of the shit that you do. So like, I want to let you know, like, that's a pretty impressive thing. So thank you, man. But like, yeah, the last record is just, it's one of the best records I've heard of kind of that horror, kind of doomy, kind of theatrical vibe records that I've heard in quite some time. So thank you for that. So,
yeah, thanks.
Cool.
Yeah, not a problem. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about where Lychgate is going in the future. Every record is different. So I can't say that they're the same, but there's always a similar vibe to these records. Are you staying in these thematic kind of tones, or is it going to be something completely different when it comes to be?
Yeah. So the new album, well, I say new, forthcoming album, whenever it will be. I've written half of it, and it's more abstract, let's say. It sounds like the same band, but it has some things that we haven't done before.
Okay.
And the main thing for me is I want to experiment with dynamics, because with metal bands you always have like you have a full-on sound, like really high gain guitars, and then if you want to go clean, it's like the total opposite. And it's like this in-between zone doesn't really exist. You know what I mean? So what I'd like to do with the next record is have more gradation between the dynamics. And actually, yeah, rather than things like always being explosive, to actually have them to like implode. So yeah, there's one section that I'm working on. it's like you expect it to kind of erupt, and it just it doesn't. It's like it all goes like inside itself. Yeah.
Cool. No, thank you. I appreciate it. So you were asking me about like the different bands I interview and stuff. Like I'm very selective on who I interview because the band's gotta matter to me. All right. And the music's gotta matter to me. So I really want to just say thank you for both of you. I know we had some times we were trying to get this done, but I'm so glad that the three of us finally got to sit down and talk. And just so you know, Jim, the next interview is the WID with integrity. So like it's going to be a totally different side, like of old school hardcore and power electronics and stuff like that. But like I said, I'm kind of really selective, and it's an absolute honor that I got to talk to the two of you today. And Greg, it's actually very nice to see your face for the first time since you've done so much mastering work for music that I've done over the years. Yeah. So like, and you've made me proud of
thank you very much. Cool. That's great. Thank you very much for your patience as well. I know it's been hard to get us all together with our schedules and everything. So yeah, thank you very much for the interview. Really appreciate it. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, not a problem. And Jim, thank you again for making this music. Keep making this music, because if you don't, I'll be sad. Like I want another album. Like you make me happy by giving me your chaos and madness of what this band is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of leave it here for you right now, because you're kind of the master speaker of writing everything. Like what's the next year or two for you musically looking like right now?
Yeah, so we're just going to play some shows. We've got a mini tour with Fen in October.
Very cool.
And yeah, we're going to play next year as well. And then in between that, we'll just be working on the album whenever we have time. And hopefully it shouldn't be another long wait. It should be much less this time, like maybe 2 years max. So
good. Well, it's funny you say that, because I was just literally listening to the new Fen record last night, because it just came out, and I was kind of digesting it a bit. And like I said, it's quite a departure from their last couple of records, in my opinion. So if you listen to it, it's really rather interesting. I know they've kind of done the post-black metal thing for years.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, they may be leaning into kind of shoegazery material as well a bit too now. So like it's kind of interesting to hear. So like I said, but no, thank you for everything you do. Thanks for the interview, gentlemen. And like I said, Clint from The Doorway too, hanging out with James and Greg from Lychgate. And I will let you know as soon as this is up. And like I said, you ever guys want to talk again when the next record comes out, I'd probably be pretty damn interested to do it again. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Cool.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah. See ya.